At Ibrox, the start of this season hasn't just been about results on the pitch. It's been about the stories and subplots unfolding behind the scenes. Russell Martin has now pulled back the curtain on one of those situations, and it involves one of the most talked about midfielders in the Rangers squad, Nicholas Raskin. For weeks, whispers have been circulating about possible interest from outside Scotland, and now the manager has finally addressed the uncertainty surrounding the Belgian's future. He hasn't just given a short rehearsed answer either. He's opened up about what's really been going on and how it has affected the player in these opening weeks. According to Martin, while no official approach has been made directly to Rangers, the noise from outside has still reached the player. Raskin has been a central figure since his arrival and a fan favorite for the energy commitment and quality he brings in midfield. But with big money links swirling around him this summer, it's perhaps no surprise that the speculation has had some impact. Martin was clear it's not a question of professionalism. Raskin continues to train hard and give his all, but he's a young man and the attention from afar is bound to leave a mark. The season began with Raskin in the starting 11 for Rangers' first 3 competitive matches. Yet when the first leg of the Champions League qualifier against Victoria Pleasant came around, Martin made the call to leave him out, opting for a different midfield balance. That match ended in a convincing 3-0 win for Rangers at Ibrox, but Raskin had to watch most of it from the bench. The same happened in the Premiership clash with Dundee, although when he came on in the second, half his influence was immediate, driving the team forward and helping to secure a 1-1 draw. For Martin, that cameo said a lot about the midfielder's mindset. He explained that they had spoken openly about the reason for his omission and that Raskin's reaction had been first class. Hungry, determined, and without sulking, the manager went on to praise his character, describing him as a fantastic player and someone he's growing to like more and more, both as a footballer and as a person. On the question of whether Raskin will still be at the club when the transfer window shuts, Martin was firm. He made it clear that Rangers are not in a position where they have to sell, and they have no interest in losing one of last season's standout performers, unless, of course, a truly extraordinary offer comes in. His stance was unequivocal: unless a bid arrives that is so significant it works for the player, the club, and allows a proper replacement, Raskin will be staying. The hope inside Ibrox is that the window closes, the Belgian remains in blue, and they can continue building towards something stronger. While Raskin's future remains a talking point, another key figure at Rangers has been speaking out. Goalkeeper Jack Butland. After losing his number 1 spot to Liam Kelly for part of last season, there had been speculation about whether he might seek a move elsewhere this summer, but Butland insists the thought never crossed his mind. He spoke ahead of the second leg against Victoria Pleasant, with Rangers carrying a comfortable 3-0 advantage from the first game. His message was simple: he's committed to the club and determined to succeed here. Butland acknowledged that Rangers is a place that will test your character constantly. In his words, it's a privilege to play for such a club, and he feels lucky to be part of it. For most of his time in Glasgow, he's been performing at a very high level, and his daily work ethic hasn't wavered. Difficult moments are a part of the job, but they don't define him, and he's never lost sight of the goalkeeper. He knows he can be. That belief has driven him through challenges, and now with Russell Martin backing him as the first choice keeper in the early part of the season, he's ready to prove he can be a cornerstone of this team's ambitions. The former Stoke City stopper spoke positively about Martin's approach and ideas, noting that while there have been some early teething problems under the new manager, progress is being made. For Butland, the summer was not about looking for a new club, but about coming back sharper, stronger, and ready to be at his best again. A change of manager means a fresh slate for everyone, and he's intent on making the most of it. His aim is to be part of a squad that not only competes but wins, and to help create a period of stability after a time when managerial changes have been all too frequent. Elsewhere, there's been backing for Martin from a familiar face: former Rangers boss Michael Beale. Speaking about the new manager's early days, Beale urged supporters to give him time. He pointed out that Martin has had to deal with missing some of his key new signings in the opening fixtures, and with the team already into the later qualifying rounds of the Champions League, the schedule has been intense. While some fans are Frustrated after 2 league draws to start the campaign, away to Motherwell and at home to Dundee, Bill believes it's far too early to judge. He drew comparisons to his own time at Ibrox, noting that the demands of the job are unlike anywhere else, and both players and staff need time to adapt. Rangers, he said, have undergone something of a reset this summer, both in terms of squad and structure, and Martin must be given space to instill his style and identity. Bill recalled that during his stint under Steven Gerrard, they had the benefit of stability over 3 years, which allowed them to recruit and play a certain way. That period brought highs, including the unforgettable Invincible season, but also challenges. In his view, what Martin faces now is about building something new in a demanding and impatient environment. Back on the pitch, the immediate focus is on the Champions League qualifier in the Czech Republic. With a 3-goal cushion, Rangers are heavy favourites to progress, setting up a playoff tie against either Club Brugge or RB Salzburg. But Martin has made it clear to his squad that nothing is to be taken for granted, especially after some inconsistent domestic performances. He's spoken openly about the mentality required to succeed at this club, warning that the standards apply in every competition, not just the glamour of European nights. The coming weeks will be crucial in defining the early narrative of Martin's reign. The transfer window ticking towards its close brings the tension of possible late moves, particularly for players like Raskin who attract attention. At the same time, the team's results in the league need to start matching the ambition in Europe. Butland's resolve, Raskin's response to adversity, and Martin's clear sense of what he wants to build all suggest there's a foundation being laid, even if it's not yet visible in every result. From the stands, the atmosphere remains as expectant as ever. Rangers supporters have seen eras change quickly in recent years, and patience is always in short supply when trophies are at stake. But within the club, there's a sense of determination to make this project work, to turn the early challenges into a springboard for success. For Martin, the message is straightforward. The noise from outside will come and go, but what matters is the work done inside the training ground and the belief within the dressing room. And for Raskin, the story is far from over. His next chapter at Ibrox could still be written in blue. If the first weeks of the season at Ibrox have been a whirlwind of speculation pressure and high-stakes fixtures, the next stretch promises to be no less intense. Russell Martin's early tenure has already thrown up a mixture of highs and frustrations, a commanding Champions League home performance against Victoria Plzen that showcased his tactical ideas in full flow, contrasted with league outings where those same ideas have sometimes struggled to translate into dominance over 90 minutes. For a new manager in Glasgow, that contrast is nothing unusual. The demands are relentless, the spotlight unforgiving, and patience from the stands often wears thin long before the work has had time to settle. Yet for all that Martin appears unwavering in his belief that this squad with the right adjustments can deliver the brand of football and the level of success that Rangers expect, the dynamic with Nicholas Raskin remains a microcosm of the wider picture. The Belgian has all the attributes to be a heartbeat midfielder, tenacious in the tackle, quick to link play, capable of sparking counterattacks and sustaining pressure in possession. But as Martin himself admitted, the background noise of transfer interest has been a distraction. In Scotland's football environment, rumours can take on a life of their own even when no formal bids have landed. A phone call here, a whisper there. Agents testing the waters. It's enough to unsettle even the most focused of professionals, and Raskin is still only in his mid-20s. Martin's decision to rotate him out of the starting lineup for such a pivotal European fixture was as much about managing that situation as it was about tactical choice. And while some supporters might have seen it as a risk, the reaction they witnessed against Dundee spoke volumes about Raskin's commitment. Dropped players can respond in one of two ways: fade into frustration or come off the bench with a point to prove. Raskin chose the latter, injecting energy and drive into a match that had been slipping away from the team's control. It was a statement not in words but in actions, and one that will not have gone unnoticed by those in the dressing room. At the same time, Martin is clear that sentiment alone will not dictate his selections. The jersey has to be earned every week regardless of past performances or reputation. This principle is particularly significant at Rangers, where competition for places is fierce and the expectation is that every player can step in and deliver without the level dropping. It is a culture that, if sustained, can strengthen the squad over a long season, but it also means that moments like Raskin's temporary benching will happen again to others. The key is how individuals respond, and whether that response feeds into the collective drive for silverware. Jack Butland's public comments have been another source of insight into the mentality Martin is trying to foster. The goalkeeper's insistence that leaving was never on his mind, even after losing his place for a spell, speaks to a commitment that managers value deeply. He has been vocal about wanting to bring others along with him, to push standards, and to embrace the challenge of regaining and holding on to the number one shirt. Butland's career has taken him from the pressure cooker of the Premier League to the unique environment of Ibrox, and his belief that he has unfinished business here sets a tone for others to follow. The fixture list in August and early September offers little respite. The second leg in the Czech Republic will demand focus even with a 3-goal cushion, because the prize on offer, a place in the playoff round against either Club Brugge or RB Salzburg, is too important to jeopardize his complacency. The Champions League, beyond its prestige, brings financial and competitive rewards that can transform a season. Navigating that path successfully could also buy Martin more breathing space domestically, giving him time to fine-tune his system without every dropped league point feeling like a crisis. Michael Beale's words of support may not sway the more impatient corners of the fan base, but it's the underlying truth known to anyone who has sat in the Rangers dugout. Turning a squad into your own takes more than a handful of games. Beale spoke about the unique demands of the club, where every game feels like a must-win and where settling in is made harder by the sheer intensity of the schedule. He pointed out that new signings, however talented, often need weeks or even months to fully adapt to the pace and physicality of Scottish football, as well as to the emotional weight that comes with wearing the shirt. Martin's challenge is compounded by the fact that some of his key recruits have yet to play consistently, whether due to fitness registration or tactical bedding. In the meantime, he has had to work with a blend of established names, younger prospects, and those returning from loan spells. This mix offers both opportunity and risk, the chance to unearth new combinations and surprise opponents, but also the possibility of inconsistency while those relationships develop on the pitch. The early league draws, Motherwell away and Dundee at home, have been picked over in detail by pundits and fans alike. In both matches, Rangers created enough to win, but lapses in concentration, missed chances, and moments of slack defending cost them. Martin himself has not shied away from pointing this out, even questioning the mentality in certain situations. That candor has drawn some comparisons with previous managers who also spoke about the mental side of the game being as crucial as the technical. Whether that issue is systemic or simply the product of a squad in transition is something time will tell, but Martin's approach suggests he intends to confront it head-on. For supporters, the emotional rhythm of a season can swing wildly between hope and frustration, and this campaign is no different. The buzz of a strong European performance can be tempered days later by a domestic draw that feels like a missed opportunity. In that environment, maintaining belief in the manager's long-term vision requires a conscious effort, particularly when the title race with Celtic leaves no room for prolonged slumps. Inside the club, there's a determination to back Martin's project. The board has signaled that there's no financial pressure to sell key assets like Raskin, unless an offer arrives that makes overwhelming sense. That stance not only reassures the dressing room, but also sends a message to potential suitors that Rangers intend to be the ones setting the terms, not reacting to them. It's a position of strength that hasn't always been possible in past seasons, and if held firm, it could allow the team to build rather than constantly rebuild. The next few weeks then are about more than just results. They are about shaping an identity. Martin's style, already visible in flashes, is based on a controlled possession game with quick transitions demanding full concentration from every player on the pitch. Implementing that while juggling the physical and mental demands of a crowded Calendar is no small task, but it's the kind of challenge that can forge a squad's character. If Raiskin's resilience, Butland's leadership, and the collective desire to prove doubters wrong can be channeled effectively, the season's early stumbles might yet be remembered as necessary steps in a successful campaign. And as the transfer deadline approaches, the spotlight will remain firmly on Ibrox. Every rumor, every potential bid, every team sheet will be scrutinized for signs of what's to come. Martin will continue to block out as much of that noise as possible, focusing instead on the work that will decide the real story. The one told not in headlines but in performances, points, and the pursuit of trophies. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Word drifting along the Clyde this week suggests that Rangers have pulled off a move nobody quite saw coming. The apparent arrival of Aston Villa's Jamaican winger Leon Bailey. While neither club has gone on record to confirm the finer details, a growing chorus of whispers from within both camps is fueling excitement across Govan. Bailey, 27, is known for his blistering pace, direct dribbling, and knack for turning matches on their head with a moment of individual brilliance. His time at Villa Park has been a mix of electric highs and frustrating injuries, but when fit, he has proved a nightmare for Premier League defenders. Now, talk of him swapping claret and blue for the royal blue of Rangers has set social media alight. Some reckon the deal might involve a creative arrangement, perhaps even a swap or a staggered payment plan that fits the Ibrox budget. For the Rangers faithful, the thought of Bailey tearing down the wings in the Scottish Premiership is tantalizing, especially ahead of a season where domestic dominance must be coupled with another European run. It's still a rumor for now, but it's the sort that feels like it has real momentum behind it. The chatter started quietly, just murmurs among those with links to both clubs. But over the past few days, it has swelled into something approaching a steady roar. Bailey's own social media activity has been under intense scrutiny. Eagle-eyed supporters have noted his recent follows of Rangers-related accounts, as well as a cryptic Instagram story showing a Glasgow skyline image, though it's impossible to confirm if it's genuine. Meanwhile, sources close to Villa have hinted that manager Unai Emery is open to reshaping his attacking options, with Bailey potentially making way to fund other moves. The Jamaican style, quick transitions, aggressive one-on-ones, and an eye for the spectacular could fit perfectly with Philippe Clement's evolving tactical vision at Rangers. However, questions linger over his fitness record and whether the physicality of Scottish football might be a challenge. Still, the potential upside is hard to ignore, particularly for a club looking to make a statement in Europe. Every transfer window brings its share of wild stories, but this one has that curious balance of plausibility and excitement that makes people lean in a little closer. Some inside Ibrox circles have reportedly been pushing for a marquee signing to both energize the squad and send a message to Celtic. Bailey's name has apparently been floated in boardroom discussions for months, with scouts keeping tabs on his performances at Villa Park and in international duty for Jamaica. The financial side remains the sticking point, as Villa would be reluctant to part ways without a decent fee. But there is speculation of a structured deal involving appearance-based add-ons and performance bonuses. For Bailey, the lure could be twofold: guaranteed first-team football in a side aiming for domestic trophies and the chance to shine on European nights. The player has always thrived under pressure, and Rangers' expectant fan base would offer exactly that. Whether his Premier League wages can be accommodated is another matter entirely, though creative contracts have been seen before in Scottish football. This is not the sort of rumor that fades quickly. Instead, it seems to be gathering credibility with every passing day, fueled by quiet nods from those who tend to know more than they say publicly. The potential impact on Rangers' current attacking lineup is also generating heated debate among supporters. Would Bailey slot in as an automatic starter, pushing existing wingers like Abdallah Sima or Scott Wright further down the pecking order? Or could Clement adjust the system to accommodate more pace and width, creating a more dynamic front three? Tactical bloggers are already sketching hypothetical lineups, imagining Bailey on the right with the freedom to cut inside onto his stronger left foot, opening up shooting opportunities from distance. There's also the intriguing prospect of Bailey linking up with Rangers' creative midfielders, potentially forming a devastating counter-attacking threat against both domestic and European opposition. Some fans worry it could disrupt squad harmony, while others see it as a necessary injection of quality. If the move materializes, the Scottish Premiership could witness one of its most exciting attacking players in years, someone capable of turning tight matches with a single run. It remains for now a story living in a liminal space between fantasy and fact. But in football, that's often where the best tales begin to take root before exploding into reality. If Bailey does indeed make the journey north, the cultural and competitive shift will be significant. From the intense week-to-week grind of the Premier League to the equally pressurized but differently paced world of Scottish football, his adaptation will be watched closely. The physicality, the smaller but often more hostile grounds, and the expectation to dominate most matches will present new challenges. Yet players of his caliber often thrive when given a central role in a team's ambitions, and Rangers could offer exactly that platform. His flair and unpredictability might also open doors in European competitions, where Rangers have often relied on tactical discipline but lacked raw pace out wide. Supporters will be hoping that this rumor hardens into reality sooner rather than later, giving Bailey time to integrate before the season's decisive stages. Until then, the talk will continue to swirl in pubs, on fan forums, and across late-night radio shows, each new snippet of supposed insider knowledge adding another layer to the intrigue. One thing is certain, whether fact or fiction, the very idea of Leon Bailey in Rangers colours has already captured imaginations far beyond the city's borders. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.